Okay, so when you think of cutting-edge tech, your mind probably jumps to self-driving cars, right? Or maybe space travel. But what if I told you one of the biggest, most complex digital transformations is happening somewhere you'd never expect, the accounting department of a major airline? Yep, and believe it or not, it all kicks off with one simple, powerful number. 67%. That's our starting point. A recent YouGov survey found that 67% of businesses in the United Arab Emirates have already shifted their systems over to the cloud. That's a huge move, and it's really setting the stage for something even bigger, something more radical, especially inside their world-class aviation industry. So you gotta ask, what's behind this massive push? Well, it's definitely not happening by accident. It's actually a core piece of the UAE's entire national strategy. We're talking about huge, ambitious plans, like the Digital Government Strategy 2025. The goal here is to push every industry, especially the big ones, like aviation, to go fully digital and, become a genuinely smart nation. And here's the thing, the government is really laying the groundwork for all of this. They're all in on building world-class digital infrastructure and what they're calling an advanced cyber fortress. Basically, they're creating this super secure foundation. And when you have that, companies get the confidence they need to finally ditch their old, clunky systems and jump into these powerful new digital accounting tools. Okay, so let's zoom in a bit. We've seen the big national picture. Now let's get right to the heart of the company itself, the Accounting Information System, or AIS for short. You can really think of it as the financial nervous system of a business. And right now, it's going through a complete and total evolution. And you can really see that evolution right here. I mean, in the past, accounting was just slow. It was a clunky process. You had accountants and clients sending data back and forth through emails, file transfers. Sometimes they even had to physically travel for meetings. Now, it's all happening in real time. Everything flows through a centralized internet cloud, connecting everyone, everywhere, instantly. What this means is a huge, fundamental shift. We're going from inefficiency to immediacy. We're leaving behind all those manual exchanges and delayed reports and moving into a world of automated, real-time data that you can see on live dashboards. It's an absolute game changer for speed, for accuracy, and for just being able to work together. So, what's the engine behind all this change? What's powering this massive shift? Well, it really comes down to a powerful trio of technologies. You've got artificial intelligence, blockchain, and cloud computing. So let's break them down and see exactly how each one is leaving its mark on the aviation world. All right, first up, artificial intelligence, or AI. AI is basically taking on some of the most data-heavy, repetitive work in finance, and in doing so, it's completely changing what it even means to be an accounting professional. Now, to get the real story, researchers didn't just guess. They went straight to the source. They interviewed 17 industry experts, people on the ground, in the UAE's aviation sector. And what's wild is how consistent their answers were. They all pointed to a few key areas where AI is making the biggest splash. The number one thing, across the board, automation. We're talking about things like payroll, reconciliations, data entry. All that stuff just happens automatically. And what that does is it frees up finance teams from the boring, tedious work so they can focus on the big picture, on strategy. On top of that, AI is absolutely crucial for crunching huge data sets and making sure everything is compliant with complicated global standards like IFRS for financial reporting and GDPR for data privacy. Okay, next up in our tech trio, blockchain. Now, if you think of AI as the brains of the operation, then blockchain is all about trust and transparency. Its whole job is to create a secure, unchangeable record for financial transactions. So where is this making the biggest waves? Well, all the experts pointed to one critical area, managing the airline's supply chain, which, when you think about it, makes perfect sense. I mean, trust is everything when you're dealing with hundreds of partners all over the globe. What this tech does is it lets airlines create a digital ledger that's basically tamper-proof, so they can use it to check that their partners are meeting sustainability standards for those important ESG reports, that's environmental, social, and governance. They can also use it to track passenger reward points and stop fraud. And, this is a big one, they can make sure aircraft maintenance records are 100% accurate and secure. It's really the ultimate audit trail. And last but not least in our trio, we have cloud computing. You can think of this as the foundation that makes everything else possible. It's what provides the flexibility, the ability to scale up or down, and the cost savings you absolutely need to run a global airline. And when those experts were asked, What's the main benefit of the cloud? The answer was crystal clear: huge cost savings. Just think about it. By moving to the cloud, companies don't have to buy, install, and maintain all their own expensive servers and software on site anymore. But it's not just about saving money. The cloud also gets rid of wasted server space and makes secure remote work a reality for teams scattered all over the world. For huge airlines like Emirates and Etihad, this is everything. It gives them the power to handle millions of transactions from every corner of the globe without a single hitch. Okay, but let's be real. A transformation this huge is never just about the tech, right? Bringing in all these new systems comes with its own set of very human challenges. And as it turns out, that might just be the biggest hurdle they have to clear. And this might be the most surprising thing that came out of the study. With all this fancy, advanced tech, you'd think the biggest problem would be a technical glitch, right? Nope. The number one obstacle was human. Every single expert pointed to the same two things: a lack of employee skills and just that natural human resistance to change. This quote from the study really nails it. It says that the most common issue was employee resistance due to a lack of skills and/or a fear of being replaced by the new system. I mean, it gets right to the heart of it. People were either worried they didn't have the skills to use the new tools, or they were scared that automation and AI would just make their jobs disappear. That fear, that human factor, turned out to be a way bigger deal than any technical bug. So, how do you solve a human problem? Well, with a human solution. The very same experts who identified this challenge also had a clear answer. You have to invest, and invest heavily in your people, in training and in support. And this isn't just some vague, fuzzy idea. Companies are following a pretty clear roadmap. Step 1 is training. We're talking workshops, manuals, anything to build up competence and, just as importantly, confidence. Then, step 2, they introduce the new systems in phases, with pilot programs to ease everyone in. And finally, step 3 is ongoing support, continuous technical help to make sure the transition is smooth for absolutely everyone. So, when you put all these pieces together, you've got the tech, the national strategy, and the solutions for the human side of things, you really start to see a clear picture emerge. And it's a picture of the future of finance, not just for airlines, but for pretty much everyone. The end game here is a smarter, more responsive financial system. Your reporting gets way more detailed, especially for those super important ESG criteria. That's environmental, social, and governance. Decision-making becomes faster and just plain better. Efficiency goes through the roof because people aren't stuck doing repetitive tasks anymore. And following global rules, that just becomes baked right into the system. Look, at the end of the day, this isn't just a story about airline accounting in the UAE. It's really a blueprint for digital transformation in any complex, data-heavy industry you can think of. And it really makes you wonder, right? If this technology can completely reinvent something as complex as airline accounting, what can't it change? What part of our world is going to be transformed next?